صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم صل على إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. يروي الإمام أحمد في سننه بسند صحيح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Tonight's hadith is from the collection of Imam Ahmad, and it's authentic chain of narration, and it's narrated to us by Abu Hurairah. And if you remember, for the past maybe several months, we started a series where we talked about Jannah hacks. So small, easy to do deeds that have significant reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to start, inshallah, another series now that we've kind of covered more than a dozen hadith. And this is the opposite. These are seemingly small deeds that have major consequences and repercussions. And we have to be mindful of those because you'll see in this hadith that they are pretty serious. So in this hadith, قيل لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن فلانة تقوم الليل وتصوم النهار وتفعل وتصدق وتؤذي جيرانها بلسانها. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا خير فيها إنها من أهل النار أو هي من أهل النار. The hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says that it was told to him that this lady stays up at night to pray, prays the night prayer, fasts during the day, gives sadaqah, gives a lot of charity, and does a lot of good deeds. But she tends to harm her neighbors with her tongue. And the Prophet ﷺ's response was, there is no good in her. There is no good in her. She is of the people of the hellfire. Now if you think about this, right? Imagine staying up at night, waking up night after night in the middle when everyone's sleeping, and you're establishing the night qiyam prayer. You are going through the long days of the summer and and throughout the whole year you're fasting. You are giving from what you have, your wealth, to charity, sadaqat to people that need it, to institutions. And you do a lot of good deeds. And then all of that is destroyed by one action. And that is using your tongue against or to harm your neighbor. And this analogy of building, it exists in a lot of domains. So trust, it takes a long time to build trust, but all it takes is one action of doing something behind someone's back or lying to them that you destroy that trust and in an instant, and it takes years to rebuild. Same as a building, right? It takes a long time to build a building, and you can destroy it in a matter of seconds. Same thing with our deeds. And this is attributed to what we might think it's not a big deal. And I'll give you examples of this shortly, inshallah. But this is very important that we pay attention to this. And the neighbor especially. The Prophet ﷺ, there's another hadith where Jibreel came and advised him about the neighbor, so much so that the Prophet ﷺ said, I thought that Jibreel would actually make my neighbor an heir, an inheritor. Almost the status of my own family. That's how important the neighbor is. And this hadith says, don't harm the neighbor. Why the neighbor? Well, the neighbor is right beside you. You have access to a lot of their private life that other people may not have. You might see things and hear things that people don't know and don't see on a regular basis. So your neighbor is vulnerable to you. And acts of harm could be that you talk behind them, behind their back, to other people. You say, so-and-so's husband is crazy, or their kids are just miserable, or they always have people over and they're so loud. And then in front of their face, you look at, you see them, you say, you finally did something about your backyard, you finally cleaned up, you finally did so-and-so. You had finally a night of quiet and peace. You can harm them to their face or behind their back. And all that, that's all it takes to destroy deeds and deeds of good deeds. And so the neighbor is vulnerable, and so we have to protect our neighbor because they almost have rights similar to our own families. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who are best of conduct to their neighbors and protect us from these seemingly, although they're grand in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, evil deeds. I hope that was beneficial. يروي الإمام أحمد في سننه بسند صحيح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قيل لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن فلانة تقوم الليل وتصوم النهار وتفعل وتصدق وتؤذي جيرانها بلسانها، فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا خير فيها، هي من أهل النار. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.